to restart the live. I hope I didn't lose anybody there. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. All right, we are live from what I have dubbed the Sean Diddy Courthouse right behind me, 500 Peel Street, Trent Out Loud, coming to you live from day 33 it is, with my recap of the day. This was the first day of Diddy deliberations, the jury deliberations. In the morning, as we told you on our 7 a.m. live, the judge has charged the jury. We finally got to it. I think the jury started deliberating around, I don't know, around 11 today, and 11, maybe 12 o'clock today. I'm gonna walk you through the day as always. Roberta's in the building. Hey friend, Tess is in the building. Melva is here. There's like new signs beside everybody's name. What's going on here? What are these little crowns? Number 2, number 3, number 1. Truly Bless is here. Tutu, Claire is here. Sharon Thompson is here. Natasha Towler, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Chino is here. Peggy is here. Hello. Miss Molly is here. Sorry, my dyslexia. Cardell Passmore, Joyce Williams, S. Samuel, Wayne, Rizal, Shirley, Cynthia, Emily, Joyce, what up? Not next to my name. Yeah, Melva, beside your name, there's like an orange, not orange, sorry. Oh my gosh, now I'm colorblind and dyslexic. There's like this purple crown with the number 1 beside your name, Melva. What up? Anyways, B said, finally, Trent is here. Outsiders, I guess you two upgraded for real. Here we go. See, Wayne 702 has like a crown and the number 1 says free puff. All right, everybody here. Jennifer has a number 2 beside her name. Wayne has a number 1. Melva, or anybody, am I the only one that sees these purple crowns and number 1, number 2, number 3? What does this mean? What's going on, YouTube? Yo, top fans. Miss Molly says top fans. All right, so I guess we're classifying you guys as top 1, top 2, and top 3 fans. I love this, man. Anyways, all you guys are all my top viewers. I love you all equally, but all right. Somebody says thank you for not mumbling up my name. Well, hey, I try my best, you know. Top fans. I love y'all, man. What up? All right, so I decided not to come out at lunchtime because I just felt like it was better to just give you guys the whole day synopsis. It doesn't, oh, I see it at the top now. I see the little crown on my screen here, and it's the crown, and it says top fans. What up? This is so cool. What up, Wayne? Wayne 704, top fan number 1. You're in the 1, and then there's a 2 and the 3. I love this, yo. Diddy effect. Make you smile. Yeah. Love that. All right, so I didn't come out. As usual, I'm going to keep like saying on the side here, you'll see that Diddy's family comes out through these doors, and everyday people line up. I think his mom and the kids and the twins left already. I'm not too sure how many people from the family are left, but maybe they're actually staying in another room and not the actual courtroom, and maybe that's why they're leaving. But we'll keep an eye and make sure that you guys see all the festivities that's going on as usual. Well, Roberta gave me a super chat. Good job, Roberta. Roberta is my homie, yo. Roberta is like my partner in crime, yo. Shout out to Roberta, man. Love you, Roberta. If there's a top fan, like Roberta is like the queen of the top fan crew of Trend Out Loud, man. Riding with me since day 1. Like Roberta's like, yeah, man, that's my homie. Melva too. Melva's always riding. A couple of y'all in here, man. My riders. You know what I'm saying? I love this. Out Louders. You guys think of like an extra name. Like there's Out Louders and there's like Rider Out Louders. We'll think of the name. Anyways, let me get to it. Yes, hello everybody. Hello. So, yeah, I'm gonna get through the day for you guys. Started on time, charged the jury. I'm not gonna go through the whole 100 pages. I did write some things down. This car is running super hot beside me. I think it's like ABC. This guy right here. Yeah, this car is just running and it's hot. Bro, you're aware that your car is running, right? Yeah, but it's like super hot. Why do you have it running if you're parked? Just curious. Okay. Hey? Oh, so you need it on. Okay, that's why. Because it's like blowing hot air, but hey, whatever. I'm just a YouTuber. They're ABC. All right, so he's charging equipment, by the way. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through, again, as always, I'm your eyes and ears. I'm bringing you guys inside the courtroom, giving you things that Twitter accounts or transcripts cannot give you. So I'll walk you through that. I'll walk you through the jury charge and the verdict sheet. Like I said, I'm gonna take out, I'm just gonna tell you guys some things that I felt maybe I didn't know and maybe you didn't know, just to kind of like highlight them. It was literally like 2 hours. I'll sum it down in like, 15 or 20 minutes for you guys. What else are we going to talk about? Oh yeah, so we're going to do jury charge. We're going to do the verdict sheet. Then we are going to talk about the little kind of kerfuffle between the lawyers. Miss Molly, thank you very much for the super chat. We're going to talk about a little kerfuffle at lunch with the lawyers about an exhibit sheet and some BlackBerry messages. Then we're going to tell you about the first note we got from the jury, which is our first, our first note. Was pretty exciting. And then I'm going to tell you the bombshell note at the end of the day that had Diddy's lawyers in a frenzy. Like, I have never seen Diddy's team look so stressed and so worried since I've been here. Even during closing arguments, Mark Agnifilo seemed calm, cool, and collected, a little kind of like pacing. This last jury note rocked Diddy's team, man. It definitely rocked Diddy's team. Thankfully, they have till 6 o'clock to get back to the judge. And if they're still not on par of what they're going to do with that note, they have the whole night and they'll argue in front of the judge tomorrow morning. I'll fill you in on what that is. The first note was something about the jury, which was also very shocking. And then at the end of the day, the note about a very significant question. And I'm mad at this because it's the one thing and the one charge that I think is totally, utterly ridiculous. I've been saying it to you guys from the minute I found out about it, and I'm not surprised that the jury would ask this question, because it's actually ridiculous if this is law, because literally everybody would be arrested if this was law. Like, it's just absurd. But we're gonna get to it, as you guys always like. You like me to take you through the whole day, okay? So we'll get to that. Sit down with me. Y'all know who it is. It's the end of the day. We have nothing to rush. Grab something to drink, grab a snack. I'm here to entertain you for the next hour or so. Let's get it, all right? So, because today was an important day, all Diddy's kids was there, all his family was there. Everybody looked good. Everybody looked in good spirits. Mark Agnifilo looked a little bit stressed in the beginning of the day. I saw him kind of huffing and puffing. This is before any jury notes, but kind of a little bit stressed. Not too sure. Tenny Garagos was not there in the morning, but overall the family looked very positive. The twins were there. The other daughter was there. I always forget her name, but there's 3 grown daughters. Of course, Baby Love was not there, who is an infant, and the 3 sons. So all 6 children were present today. Mom, Miss Combs, shout out to Miss Combs. You know, I love her so much. She always comes in and says, hi, Trent. She had her bigger wig on today where her hair was out, and I told her it was my favorite wig, so shout out to Miss Combs. And that was it. Prosecution side, as always, looked like they're just ready to get down. As I told you guys in my podcast yesterday, the prosecution is not super friendly or talkative with us, the content creators or legacy media. They're more just kind of just want to get their job done. But shout out to them. They look like they were organized and ready to go. I have here, it says something like Charles Lown dress in suit / I don't even know what that note is. Sometimes I write notes, I don't even remember them. Anyways, during the day, this is a little thing that I found out from one of the security guards is while the jury is deliberating, we in the gallery and family and Diddy's family get to either sit down in the courtroom, or we get to sit outside, or we get to come outside, or we get to go into the cafeteria and we can come and go as we please. So I asked them, what does Diddy have to do when they are deliberating? So let's just move this a little bit here. Yeah, what does Diddy do while the jury is deliberating? And they said Diddy is a prisoner, meaning that he is held downstairs in the basement of this building. We are on the 26th floor, which is, I don't know if I can get it. You see there, right there in the back. We're at the top, right up there. And Diddy is in the basement of that building, held in a jail cell until they need him, and at that point they bring him back upstairs. So during the days, when there was court, obviously Diddy stayed up, but now that they're in jury deliberation, Diddy will be held in a jail cell, and then at the end of the day, he will be brought back to MDC. Okay, so starting of the day, jury instructions start. The judge brings in the jury. He says, all right, jury, I'm going to charge you, and we are going to read the verdict sheet. Like I said earlier, the sheet is around 120 pages. I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to summarize it very quickly and tell you the things that stood out to me, okay? So the jury says, we're going to, you must consider all the evidence. You must consider closing arguments and take the law as, you must consider the closing argument, it's the end of the day, guys. You must consider all of the evidence and not the closing arguments. Take the law as I give it to you, not what the lawyers have told you. Because sometimes, you know, especially Mark Agnifilo, he got in trouble during his closing arguments. The judge is reminding him, you may have heard the lawyer say certain things on both sides, the prosecution side and the defense side. The judge reminded the jury at the beginning, when you go into jury deliberations, you're not to think about anything you said in closing arguments, or you could think about it, but that's not what you're supposed to make your decision on. You must take into account all the evidence and take the law as I give it to you, not the lawyers. As of now, you guys are the judges. You determine the truth and the credibility of the witnesses that you heard on the stand. Prior to this moment, it was the lawyers and the judge asking and directing the witnesses. The judge told the jury today, it is now your turn. You are in control. This is your courtroom. You are judge, jury, and everything. You guys look at the witness testimony and you determine if they are credible. You determine what you want to believe from their testimony. I thought that was pretty powerful. He said, what the lawyers have said to you are not evidence. What the lawyers said is not evidence. It's the testimony that is evidence. Only the answers that the people on the witness stand gave are evidence. Not what the lawyers asked, not anything else you heard. The answers from the witnesses is evident. I thought that was evidence. I thought that was very important. The defendant, Sean Diddy Combs, pled not guilty. He is innocent until proven guilty. You must not think because he did not take the stand that he is guilty. He is innocent until proven guilty. He has a right not to put up any witnesses. He has a right not to take the stand. And this is the United States of America. Sean Diddy Combs is innocent. He is an innocent man until proven guilty. The burden of proof falls upon the government. The government even did their due diligence, and in their closing arguments, they said the burden of proof falls on us and we will take that responsibility, okay? He also went on to explain what is reasonable doubt. He says reasonable doubt is a doubt that you have, but not all doubt, but reasonable doubt. He was saying that it's impossible to ever like 0-0 have no doubt, but he's mainly trying to say beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond a reasonable doubt. It's impossible, and I like that he accentuated this because that didn't even click to me when you say beyond a reasonable doubt, because anything that somebody says, you might have like a 1.11%. That's not what he's saying, not that doubt. He's saying beyond a reasonable doubt. It has to be reasonable that you doubt it, and the prosecution has to show you beyond that. I thought that was very important that he pointed that out. He also pointed out the two types of evidence that you see in this case. I've talked to you guys about this before. Direct evidence, where direct evidence is videotape or audio. That's that's direct evidence. And also, he said that testimony is also direct evidence. Now, circumstantial evidence, he broke down, which I thought was really cool. And he said, what circumstantial evidence is logic of fact. Let me give you an exact example. He said, if you are outside, let's say right now, and you're walking into this courtroom and it's sunny outside, you go inside the courtroom, the blinds are closed, you cannot see outside. When you came outside, it was sunny. Now, as people are coming in the courtroom, the first guy comes in with an umbrella and he's shaking it off and you see water as if it was raining outside. Then the next guy comes in and the next girl comes in and she has a rain jacket from outside and she's soaking wet. You cannot see outside, but because the last two people that came from outside is soaking wet, Circumstantial evidence could lead you to believe that it's raining outside even though you didn't see it. Direct evidence would be you seeing that it's raining. Circumstantial evidence is not hearsay, it's just based on my own logic. Like, yeah, I know when I was outside, it was beautiful, it was sunshine, I was tanning. However, it's probably raining now because 2 or 3 people have come in soaking wet. So that is circumstantial evidence. I love that he cleared that up for people. He also went on to talk about the credibility of witnesses. He says, it is now your job to judge their credibility. I thought this was super important that he pointed this out. He says, why they are, he said, it's up to you to determine their credibility. You are allowed to question, why are they testifying? You're allowed to size them up. You have to use your own common sense. Gosh, I wish this guy would turn off his car. It's literally like an engine blowing heat on me, man. Gosh. Sorry about that, guys. He said, use your own common sense. Again, he reminded them, you are the judge, jury here, and it's up to you to determine if a witness is credible. Use your common sense. Listen to this. He says, if there was any inconsistencies in the witness's statement, you have the right to reject their testimony. You have a right to question their motive, and you have a right to question belief in their testimony. Now, I'm not going to point anything out to you guys, but there has been witnesses on the witness stand that have not been 100% accurate, and there have been some inconsistencies. The judge is telling the jury right now that they have a right to question it or even throw out their entire statement based on that. It's the jury's job to determine the credibility of a witness. I hope it's not going to rain. Another thing, he says, an indictment is not, this is on Diddy's side, just because Diddy, you can go ahead and walk, don't worry. It's still, I don't have a permit, I don't own a sidewalk. No, I appreciate you, thank you so much. All right, have a great day. All right, so he said now, if somebody is indicted, i.e. Sean Diddy Combs, that does not mean that you should automatically think he is guilty. Again, I would like to remind you, he is innocent until proven guilty, even though that he has an indictment. You cannot use his indictment against him. Really, really powerful. You must return a verdict on each count separately. So you can't say, yeah, he's guilty. It's got to be on RICO. It's got to be on everything. Ooh, it is going to rain. I can feel it. You must return a verdict on each count separately. All right, now he goes on to break down RICO, which I'm not going to do too much for you guys because I'm sure everybody pretty much knows after all these weeks you know about RICO. But there's one big thing in RICO that I really want to tell you guys about. You'll be able to tell your family and friends. I bet you a lot of people don't know this, okay? So he said, in RICO, yes, there's predicate acts and charges, but he is charged with a RICO conspiracy. So even though you find the predicate acts that he might be found guilty, you also must find that he conspired together with at least one other person to commit these predicate acts. It can't just be him on his own. So he conspired to do it with another person. Now here is what I find really huge, okay? I'm gonna run down the predicate acts for you. The K word, taking somebody, arson, bribery, and just to point out bribery, bribery is a witness that is about to testify for law enforcement. If no law enforcement or it's not a judge or it's not a police officer or whatever, it's not bribery. It's bribery when somebody is about to testify against you. If the police are called, if there's an open case, that is bribery. If it's just like what Diddy did, the judge is basically indirectly saying that this is probably not bribery. He's saying, hey, somebody just wants to buy a tape from somebody because they're a public image. If there's no case, there's no law enforcement, whatever, it's not bribery. They talked about witness tampering, forced labor, SEX trafficking, transportation, and the other one, women, transportation of women selling themselves, and the last one, distribution of DRUGs. Now, that is the 8 predicate acts. Before I tell you the thing that I found out, I just like to point out, a lot of people thought the K word wasn't going to be in there. Remember last week, they're going to drop some things. Just a reminder, they did not drop anything in RICO, or they did not drop RICO. The K word is still there, arson is still there, bribery is still there. Last week, there was an attempted K word and an attempted arson and attempted bribery. That is gone. All the 8 predicate acts are still under RICO. Now, here is the bombshell that I found out today. Maybe some of you might knew. I thought that each juror had to find 2 of their own. And then once, let's say if all 12 found their own 2, that would be enough to convict them of RICO. I'll give you an example. Let's say I thought it was arson and bribery that he was guilty of. Okay, that's my 2. Then, John's 2 would be witness tampering and forced labor. And then juror number 3 would be SCX trafficking and DRUG. So as long as we all 12 jurors picked 2, that would be enough to convict them of RICO. Oh no, mon frere, it goes deeper than that. All 12 jurors need to agree on the 2 that they're picking. So if it's, let's say, arson, all 12 need to agree that arson. And as you guys know with RICO, you need to find 2. So it will have to be all 12 agrees on arson and all 12 agree on bribery. And if all 12 agree on 2, then he is charged with RICO. If you ask me, that makes it even harder to convict them on RICO because yes, you have to find 2, and I know there's 8, but they all have to agree on the 2. They can't just pick their 2 own. So Dominic said, I already knew that. Somebody says, no, that's incorrect. They all don't need to agree. Excuse me, Karen, totally respect you, but this is not an opinion. This is fact. They must agree on the 2. You can't find 2 people that agree on these charges. Well, that is what the jury's, that is what the judge's instructions are. This is not an opinion. Y'all know I like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Hey, I agree on your opinion. This is fact, people. This is fact, and I also confirmed it with a lawyer. I checked this out or whatever. Under the RICO Act, to find Sean Diddy Combs or anybody convicted, the jury of 12 need to agree on each of the predicate acts. It can't just be I chose 2, you chose 2. Oh, we each have 2, Your Honor. Nah, it doesn't work like that. You have to agree on the 2. To me, that pushes RICO further down the hill, personally. And again, just to remind you guys, I'm not on anybody's side here. It doesn't matter to me. I'm literally just here to give you guys the information and for you guys to tell me how you feel about it, okay? Boom. That is RICO. Then the judge said, okay, let me break down SCX trafficking, which I'm not going to. You guys already know SCX trafficking. So that's count 2 and count 4. SCX trafficking, force, fraud, or coercion. Cassie from 2009 till 2018. Jane from 2021 to 2024. Now, a couple of things that we said already. This shouldn't come as a surprise. These are each separately. It doesn't mean that they have to find Jane and Cassie together. They could find Jane not guilty for SCX trafficking under force, fraud, and coercion, and you could just find Cassie guilty. You could find both not guilty, both guilty, or one of the other. It's all separate, okay? Cassie is count 2, Jane is count 4. And I also like to remind you guys that they only have to find that he was guilty of doing this one time. So that means in the span of 10 years that Cassie and Diddy were doing freak-offs, let's say they did 500 freak-offs, they only have to find one time out of that 9 years that he forced, fraud, or coerced her to do SCX trafficking. And like I said, I don't take credit for this, but one of my fellow YouTubers put this analogy to me, and it makes total sense. If somebody said to you that they unalived only one person in 9 years, I came close, I did all this stuff, but in 9 years I only unalived one person, you would still want them to go to jail, right? So you have to, you cannot bring up the example of, oh, well, it was maybe one time he said something about this or one time. No, one time is too many. And again, I'm not saying he's guilty of it, I'm just saying, if there was one time is too many, whether it be his girlfriend or not, all right? Nice tattoos. So that is it with SCX trafficking. Separately and only one time. Now, charges 3 and 5 are transportation for, the P word, which is selling yourself. Same thing. Cassie is charge number 3 from 2009 till 2018. Jane is 2021 to 2024. Same thing as above. Needs to be separate, not together. It's and or, and also, again, one time. You just have to prove that you traffic for transportation, Cassie or Jane or somebody else across state lines one time. Y'all know that is the Mann Act. We don't need to talk about that. Again, separate. He could just be charged just Jane or just Cassie and not the trafficking and not RICO. So there is, in total, 5 different charges. He could beat all 5, he could get found guilty of all 5, or it could be a mix 1, 2, 3, or 5, okay? One thing that we talked about this last week too, but just want to remind you guys, the venue means that at least one act must have happened in the Southern District of New York, meaning Manhattan, Bronx, and they said a couple of little like side districts, but that's already been proven. If you find any of the acts that he's guilty on, we all know that it happened here, okay? Now, I have a note after he read, I think that was it. Oh no, it's still going on further, but I put a note right here. So this is not good. Well, maybe it is good. I don't know how to read it. Y'all let me know. I put a note here. I said, I've never seen the jury this engaged. They were literally staring at the paper. And just to let you know that what the judge is reading all this, again, I'm just summarizing it. For him, it was 100 pages. But they didn't, he gave them a printout on their chair. And I was expecting them to just like take the printout, like roll it around, because this jury is tired and they were just really not into it for the past couple of weeks. Every single juror, even the alternates, were like, yeah, okay, Rico, and this jury was engaged. It was very, very smart. Again, like I said, I don't know for what side this benefits, but it's very, very smart of the judge to let the weekend pass, let everybody get rested, let everybody kind of just get their bearings and start fresh on Monday morning, because the jury was super engaged and listening to every single thing the judge was saying, okay, super engaged. All right, there's a couple of other things before the jury sheet that I thought was important. He said, when it comes to expert witnesses, you are the expert. Just because Don told you something, by the way, guys, it's 6 p.m. For those of you who follow this afternoon live, it's 6 p.m. The rat is gonna run out between now and 7. Let's see if it happens, all right? We give him 1 hour. He has come out every single live. I'm watching. There's a couple of birds, a couple of whatever. I'm sure he's gonna run out at some point. I keep calling it him. Maybe it's a him or her, who knows. Anyways, talking about expert witness. That was a leaf. Now I'm all like, I'm on alert now. Yeah, he likes me. You and that rat, exactly. All right, okay, don't let me think about it, because now the leaves are blowing, the birds, and I'm like, yo, it's him. I will know he is way bigger than these little sparrow birds. Anyways, witness experts, he told the jury, they might be expert witnesses. However, you are the witnesses. No, not you. Oh, he just ran across. I swear to you, he just ran across. Yo, this guy can hear me, yo. Oh my gosh. Yo, this guy could speak English. He understands English. He was a little bit further away. Yo. I'm shook now, yo. Yo, suppose he like really likes me and like wants to hear my lives and wants to come closer to me. Oh my gosh, I hate rats. Anyways, okay. Yo, this rat understands English, yo. I'm super shook right now. Anyways, let me get back to this. All right, sorry guys. Okay, you're the expert witnesses. Yes, they might have experts in front of their name, but you are the experts. You do not have to listen to expert witnesses, okay? Another thing they said, law enforcement, a couple of law enforcement agents testified. You guys are laughing at my rat, aren't you? Yeah, I gotta get back to work. Law enforcement agents, just because they are cops doesn't mean anything. Picture Perfect sent me a super chat. Thank you so much. Let me heart that. Thank you very much. For Rico, the jurors can unanimously agree on one predicate act that happens more than once. That satisfied 2 predicate acts. 100%. We told you guys about that last week. It could be 2 DRUGs. It could be 2 arsons. It could be 2 K words. It could be 2. The point is, they all have to agree on the 2. So it could be 1 5 times, that's enough for Rico, which I think is crazy, but hey, the law is the law. I don't break the law, but as long as it could be 5 DRUGs, it could be 5 K words. So the point is that they all 12 have to agree. It can't be one thinks the DRUG happened 5 times and somebody else thinks it's the K word. They have to agree on that. But thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, so just because you see a law enforcement officer testifying doesn't mean anything. You take his testimony as if anybody would be testifying. Listen to this, y'all. I thought this was really interesting. Witnesses that testified under immunity. Jane, Brendan Paul, Was Mia given immunity? Anyways, whoever tested under immunity, he said, you have a right to examine their testimony that much more carefully because they have a motive to be up there. You can question that. You can question the fact that they have a motive to be up there, and you can look at their testimony sideways. Thought that was really important. He also said there was a lot of evidence through raids. The judge says you could, thank you, Stacy Ballard for the super chat, appreciate you. He said any evidence that was taken up from raids, you can trust it. He also said charts and summaries, these are not evidence, but they are circumstantial as evidence, meaning that you can't just take the summary, you have to take the details that are in the summary. That's just being technical. He said the people that testified under pseudonyms, Jane, Mia, who else testified under? Anyways, anybody that testified under a pseudonym, you cannot judge them for that. Just because Jane testified under Jane, you can't throw out her testimony just because she decided that she wanted to testify under immunity. Once again, he reiterated that the defense right not to testify does not mean that he is guilty. He is innocent until proven guilty. They talked about, guys, be careful because there's a rat underneath that car right there. Just be careful. He just ran out like 5 minutes ago and he's chilling. So yeah, take your son from there. Trust. Yo, I'm the rat protector, yo. So he also talked about people being intoxicated. He says you could determine that they did not intend to do something, i.e. Diddy, if he was under intoxication with an asterisk beside it. And he said that applies to RICO, the K word, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, transportation, and DRUGs, okay? We've already talked about that. You guys know about that. The Diddy's defense team got that in. Hey, if you were, you know, under the influence, if you're intoxicated, then the intent is taken away. But what the prosecution talked about that is really, we've been talking about through 2009 till 2018. Are you trying to tell me that you were under the influence for the whole entire 9 years? Yes, maybe at night you were, but the day when you were planning everything, you're not. So, but the jury instruction is you can take that intoxication into consideration. Then he gave them the deliberation instructions. He said, do not show your notes to anybody. If you need transcripts, let us know, we will tell you. You cannot search anything online. You cannot watch the Trend Out Loud show. You cannot consult the dictionary. No information from outside. You cannot ask your friends. You cannot ask your family. You cannot go on social media to look for information. Tanya Ike, I think it's Ike. Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate y'all. I love y'all super chats, yo. I need some snacks and dinner. And he listed social media. He said you cannot go on YouTube. You cannot go on Snapchat, you cannot go on TikTok, you cannot go on Instagram. He listed all the social sites. He said, if you are aware of any jury doing anything that I said above, please come and tell me. He says, don't approach the juror and tell them that you're telling me. He said, literally come and tell me and I will handle it. All right, we have a couple more before we get to the jury sheet. He said, do not judge the defendant on the fact that he's a man or a woman. Do not judge him on his color. Do not have any feelings towards him. Basically, do not feel sorry for him. Don't look and say, oh, he has kids, or he's a black man, or he's a man, or he's a woman. You need to judge this based on law. Look at the facts, look at the evidence. Do not bring any of that into consideration at all. You are not allowed to have any personal likes or dislikes. Hilda Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. Love that, thank you. True Hall of Fame builds. I react to all your videos and you said this explanation, Diddy will walk free, thank you. All right, that's you saying that, not me, but thank you for the super chat. All right, so you must not use your likes and dislikes towards the defendant. Your verdict must be based solely on the evidence. Do not surrender your verdict. Do not surrender your verdict stand by choice. So what he's saying, Vanessa with a super chat. Wow, y'all are really looking out for me today, yo. Officially new out loud. Very impressed with your passion and thoughtfulness throughout the trial. Keep up the amazing work. Wow, Vanessa, thank you so much for the super chat. Love that. Thank you so much. I really use your super chats on snacks and stuff. It really gets me through. I love y'all, yo. Hold on, let me take a little water. So listen to this about surrendering. He said, do not surrender your verdict. Stand by your choice. What does that mean? Do not say, man, I want to vote not guilty. Don't have anybody pressure you. Yes, can you discuss? Can you deliberate? 1000%. But if you feel like he is not guilty, do not let that stance go. Stand by your side. Do not let anybody intimidate you. Don't let anybody feel any way. Same way, if you feel like he's guilty, don't let the time, don't let 4th of July. No, stand your ground. Talk amongst yourselves, but stand your ground. If you feel like you have something, nobody can change your mind. Nobody, not me, not the prosecution, nor the defense. Then he got to the last thing, which is, I could tell he felt bad and felt a little sad. He's still underneath the car. Ugh. Ugh. If he comes any closer, I'm moving, yo. So you can tell he felt a little sad. He goes, okay, unfortunately, at this time, the alternate jurors will not be able to deliberate with their team. They will be fully let go and sent home. Why I feel like he felt sad doing this is, yo, these alternate jurors were here every day through boredom, through excitement, through rain, through sun, through whatever. And then they were like, sorry, time for deliberation. You guys are not allowed in the room because you're not real jurors. You're alternates, go home. Imagine sitting through the Diddy trial for like 7-8 weeks. And then you're like, thanks guys, you made it, go home. But, on your way home, you still cannot talk. Oh, 2176 Julie, thank you so much for the super chat. Y'all keep these super chats going. Bam, 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 bam. He said, although that you are relieved of your duty, you're not fully relieved. Do not talk to anybody. Don't talk to your family. Don't talk to whatever. Do not go on Instagram. Don't do anything, because even though the jury is in deliberation, something could happen with one of the jurors and you might be asked to come back. So I thought that was kind of a little bit unfair, where it's like, you spent all this time, thanks a lot. We only needed one of y'all. The rest of y'all go home, but you still can't look up. You're telling me you think those alternate jurors are not at home now looking up everything? I feel like they already had been anyways, but for sure now they're like, what? 8 weeks? I didn't even get to go on this? I'm out of here, yo. Anyways, so that was it with jury instructions, okay? Like I said, I wanted to sum it up for you guys quickly, not to take up too much of your time. Now, the verdict sheet, which I thought was surprisingly a little simple. Listen to this. This is the verdict sheet that they will have to check off to help them get through their thoughts, right? So first count one is RICO, guilty or not guilty, and then they listed the K word, arson, bribery, witness tampering, forced labor, SCX trafficking, transportation, and DRUG. And under this RICO Act, they want to know if the Cassie charge was included in the SCX trafficking, or the Jane was included in the SCX trafficking or transportation, because transportation, there were other people. So they want to know if Jane or Cassie was included in this RICO Act. Then count two is Cassie, SCX trafficking under force, fraud, or coercion. Simple, guilty, not guilty. And then Cassie, transportation, guilty, not guilty. Same thing with Jane. SCX trafficking, force, fraud, or coercion, or all three, guilty or not guilty. Jane, trafficking, guilty, not guilty. Boom, that's the verdict sheet. Very, very simple. He also said, which is really important, sucks for me, but just got to tell y'all. So as of, well, today, the jury will have to show up at 9 o'clock. Of course, we'll have to show up at 9 o'clock as well, too. And they'll be set to go till 5. Before, during the trial, they'll let them go home at 3. But now it will be 9 to 5. But the jury can decide how long they really want to stay. So if, let's say, they're at 5 o'clock and they're in like a good conversation and I feel like they might be close, they could unanimously decide, like, yo, we want to stay today till 8 o'clock. They have to buy them food, they got to take care of them, but they might stay some nights till 8, 9 o'clock if they feel like they're getting close. So yes, it sucks for me because I got to wait till they come out to tell you guys anything. But the positive in that is, let's say, for example, let's say like Tuesday, tomorrow, they feel like they might be close. I would rather them take a little two extra hours and give us a verdict, or let's say on Wednesday, and then we all get the Thursday and Friday off and we get a verdict, okay? I am assuming, like I said today earlier, I think, and I have a lot more insight on this now, but I think we should probably get a verdict by Wednesday. Like I said today earlier, it's not really that complicated of a case. Mostly it's testimony. Mainly it's, do you believe Jane Cassie? Do you believe the government? Do you believe the prosecution? Like Mark's closing arguments, do you believe the prosecution side or do you believe the defense side? It shouldn't be that hard. Okay, so all of this was done by 11:30. Now, the jury was sent back to start deliberating. Like I said earlier, there was a little hiccup. The judge asked, all right, is the laptop ready, which has all the things on it that they need, videos, whatever, blah, blah. Andrea Saka, thank you so much for the super chat. You're giving us you're giving us fantastic. God bless you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Okay, so the laptop is ready, but then they said, yeah, the exhibit list is not ready. The judge says, okay, what's wrong with the exhibit list? They said that there's something with the subject of BlackBerry, that BlackBerry put out a subject and the prosecution didn't like the subject lines because they were a little bit gory, and not gory, but like, they're a little too detailed in the SEX nature. Anyways, really not a big deal. The judge awarded it to the government. They said, yeah, take out the subject lines. This is not an email. So the defense lost that little small argument. The exhibit list was submitted. The judge says, I would like to thank all the lawyers in this case. You guys worked together. You did a great job and giving the young lawyers on the case a chance. Thank you so much. Boom, jury, go and deliberate, okay? As we were let out for lunch and for the jury to start deliberating, like I said, I'm gonna give you guys some insight. Diddy's team asked the bailiffs, thank you, Ruth Wright, for not a super chat, but like a super whatever emoji or whatever, thank you. Oh, it's starting to rain. I'm gonna have to take out my umbrella. Sucks. So Diddy asked if he could bring 2 books back with him. Like I said, he has to go and spend the time while the jury's deliberating in a jail cell. He asked if he could bring 2 books. The U.S. Marshal said yes. The judge dismissed everybody, and everybody in the gallery and Diddy's family got to stay back. This was the first time. They asked us to all leave the court. They closed the courtroom. Diddy's mom, kids, and his immediate family were able to stay there. They locked us out for about half an hour. I don't know what exactly happened in there. I guess maybe they were allowed to have some communication, some talking, the fact that the trial just ended. So I thought it was nice that they gave him the half an hour time with his family. They opened the doors. We were allowed to go back in. Okay, that's not important. So then after that, Mark and Diddy started talking. All the feds started talking together, kind of like, congratulations, good job, blah, 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 whatever, blah, blah. This is something here. Important to note that the last minute, oh, sorry, this is a note to myself. Just thought about while I was in court seeing everybody, a couple of people asked me about a plea deal, if there's gonna be a plea deal. There could have been a plea deal all the way up to the jury deliberating, which was this morning. What that tells me and tells us, the fact that there was no plea deal, is both sides think that they're gonna win. Normally through a trial, a defendant will plead not guilty, and decide, oh, let's see who shows up. Oh, it's even sometimes when you get a speeding ticket or just an infraction, you'll go to court and say, yo, let me see who shows up. I've seen it happen a bunch of times. Or even in criminal court, you're like, oh, I don't think I have that much of a defense, but let me see what they have. So, of course, Diddy's team went through trial. Sometimes halfway through the trial, you feel like you might be losing. You'll go through and you'll ask for a plea deal. Like in the Young Thug trial, the prosecution felt like they didn't have a chance. They gave him a plea deal, and that's why Thug got let out. This just goes to show you that both sides feel like they have it in the bag. There's no plea deal. We didn't hear about a plea deal. I would have heard about it. Some of the legacy media, nobody reported it. Both sides felt confident going into deliberation like they won. I think that's really good, and it's like literally what I've been saying to you guys. Both sides have done an amazing, fantastic job. Both sides have every reason to think that they won. Like, I totally agree with them. So shout out to the prosecution and to the defense. After all this, Tenny Burgos walks in at 11:45. Remember I told you earlier that she wasn't there. The judge joins the lawyers on the floor. It was really nice because normally the judge sits at his bench and never comes down, but the judge came down, started talking with Tenny, started talking with all the lawyers, just wrapping up everything. He started joking and laughing. Then there was a question again about the that summary chart, not the summary chart, but the thing with the BlackBerry. And Tenny made a joke and says, "Hey, that's what happens when I'm not here and I'm late in the morning. Like, don't worry, Judge, I will take care of it." So as they were on the floor laughing and joking, and we're like, "Okay, we're finally here." Wow, even us, like, you know, legacy media and like the YouTubers and content creators were like, "Wow, like we're finally here. Like any moment now, like the jury could literally come back and say we have a verdict." Literally, while this is happening, boom, jury has a note. First note, not a big alarm. They have reached a floor person very quickly, and there's a reason why I'm highlighting this. So within 5 minutes, the jury has a floor person. It's juror number 5 is their floor person. We're like, well, okay, that was quick. Then they came back and announced, laptop done, exhibit done, no problem. Diddy leaves and goes to the bathroom, okay? So 20 minutes later, Diddy comes back, and most of the court is empty. Tenny and his lawyer is there chilling. So I'm like, all right, this is a perfect time for me to like run out, maybe come talk to you guys or go have lunch. Boom, 20 minutes later, another note from the jury. So super quick floor person, 1 o'clock, we get a note from the jury. Listen to this. So by the way, it doesn't happen that quickly. They send out a note, the judge has to come out, all the lawyers have to come out, they alert us, everybody comes running back in. Some people were outside, some people were eating lunch. So they all come back. It takes around half an hour for everybody to get back together. The first jury note, listen to this. We have started deliberating, and we feel that juror number 25 cannot follow the judge's instructions. That is huge. Within 1 hour, I thought they were gonna go have lunch. It's 12:30. This shows you this jury is not playing around. We could get a verdict tomorrow. For them to go back and within half an hour come back and already point somebody out, so much so that they don't want to just keep it to themselves. They're like, hold on, we're sending a note to the judge. Yo, judge, there's one juror, he can't follow your instructions. I'm assuming it's a he. I'm pretty sure who it is. So the court looked into it, and the prosecution said that they want time to answer what they should do. Because the judge is like, all right, what do we do now here, lawyers? It's up to the lawyers to decide what they want to do with juror number 25, because they feel like he can't understand, that they can't follow his instructions. And I highlighted cannot, not maybe not or whatever. No, this person cannot follow instructions. So the prosecution said, listen, this is happening a little too quick. We're not sure what we want to do with this. We need some time to digest it. Mark Agnifilo and his team said, we suggest that you send a note back to the jury and tell them to keep going. This is only the beginning. Keep going. Both sides huddle around. Both sides keep talking together, and they don't know what to do about juror number 5, okay? Sorry, juror number 25. Now, let me give you a small little insight into what I think this means and why I think Mark Agnifilo and team want them to continue. If you don't, what's up, brother? What do you guys think if a juror is not following the judge's decisions? It means that this jury, to me, is a little bit of a rebellion. He's a little bit of a rebel. I'm pretty sure it's a he. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. And I think that plays for the prosecution side. Somebody who is, I'm gonna listen to everything the judge says. They said this was the law. They said that was the law. That means he's guilty with here. That means distribution is this. They mean this is whatever. That's the juror that the prosecution wants. The defense wants somebody that's like, I'm not listening to nothing the judge says, yo. I'm telling you, he told me I'm the judge, I'm the jury. Nah, I'm not listening to what he says. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I feel like the defense team was like, yo, keep him on, do not. And that's why the prosecution was like, hold up. We want to look at some case studies. We want to gather together. We want to know, we're not too sure of yet what to do. So the judge is like, all right, I'll give you some time to think about it. I think they thought about it for around half an hour. At 2 o'clock, they sent a note back, and the government agreed to send a note to say, this is just the first half an hour, go back and deliberate. But then the government wanted to put something in there that was not as harsh as the prosecution, not as harsh as the defense. Like, the defense was like, don't worry about it, it's cool, keep going. The prosecution was more like, yo, It is something, however, it is the first hour, but if you notice that it keeps on happening, like, let us know. Where the prosecution was like, no problem, just keep on doing what you're doing, playa. So, first note back, other than the floor person, so technically the second note back, positive in my guesstimation, positive to the defense team, all right? Good afternoon, Mr. Xavier. Take care. Thank you. X is good. All right, X. Have a great day. That's Diddy's lawyer. All right, so now they go back to deliberate. Okay, so 4:30. Okay, we get another note. Boom! I was literally, where was I? Was I outside, or I think I was in the caf? Oh no, I was outside talking with somebody. We were like, yo, we have another note. So we all get back together, and now things are not good. Okay, we got another note. Diddy walks in with his 2 books that he was downstairs reading. Okay, Diddy's lawyers all gathered together and they all huddle around the note. And X, who just walked by, Mr. Xavier Donaldson, was taking notes. People, I'm not taking notes, taking screenshots, taking pictures of the note. They haven't told us. They give the note, and it's literally like a note, like on this notepad, like da-da-da-da, we write something down. Diddy's team is in panic mode. I don't even know what's on the note. Only the judge knows, the prosecution and the defense team, and they give them the note before they read it because it's like, what do you guys want to do with this? Diddy's team is freaking out. I already know it's bad. So let me tell you what we're hearing, or what I'm seeing, again, like my own eyes. Diddy's lawyers are all gathered together. They're all huddled around the note. Nicole Westmoreland looks very worried. Tenny, Shapiro, and Nicole are all gathered together. Then the young lawyer, Mark, Brian Steele, and Xavier, they all huddled together. I don't know why all the guys were huddling together and all the girls were huddling together. Then Nicole and Brian Steele start talking together. I have never seen them like this. I'm in the courtroom every day. I have never seen them in a frantic pace like this. Mark starts asking Diddy what he wants to do. So now that they all have talked, now that they're all frantic, and the prosecution is literally just sitting at their desk like, do. That's how you know it's something bad. So the lawyer's frantic looking around, and then Tenny starts sitting at her computer like, all right, before we go totally off the Richter scale, let's start looking around, let's start like doing some research, trying to find out, what up? Trying to find out what to do, okay? So Tenny starts looking into her computer. Diddy is steadfast, and he is straight looking ahead like this. He's at his desk like this. He looks stressed, man. I've never seen the team like this. I literally thought like they had a verdict on like a couple of the charges. The feeling, again, I don't know. I'm just telling you the feeling that I'm feeling, and people in the gallery feeling the same thing. We don't know. So the judge comes in at 5 o'clock. This started at 4:30, gave them half an hour. The judge comes in at 5 o'clock and says, the jury note is asking this. Listen, they're asking the line on the jury instructions, page 37, if a person hands over DRUG to another person, is that distribution? That is not good, guys. That's not good for Diddy. Any of you Diddy fans out there that wants the free Diddy, that is not good. Again, I don't have skin in the game. That is not a good question. This was the first thing I spoke about during the prosecution's closing. When, I think her name is Anna or Christy Slovenia. When she first started talking about Rico, she presented Rico like this. She said, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, blah, 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 da, da, da. Diddy is going down. He's a bad person. He's a man. Let me explain to you, Rico. DRUG. You all might think that's like the movies and like this and like that. It doesn't need to be keys. It doesn't need to be briefcases. It simply needs to, it could be a personal amount. That is enough under the, oh, it's starting to rain. That is enough under the RICO Act. And distribution. It doesn't have to be distributing it all over New York, Miami, LA. Distribution is, and I made fun of this bottle of Perel that I bring around everywhere with me, if this has some white stuff in it, and I have it in my hand, and I give it to you and you take it, that is distribution. I understand that that is technically the law, but that's some BS, yo. Because, and like the other person said just in the super chat, and like I told you guys for the past 2 days, it doesn't have to be two separate predicate acts. It could be one predicate act 2 times. If the jury decides to find Diddy guilty of his small personal vials of DRUG, and he handed it to Cassie, he handed it to Jane, he handed it to Brendan Paul, and in every single one of their testimonies, they all said, yeah, was this personal use? Brendan Paul said, yeah, the first time I did it was with Diddy. I wanted to stay loyal to him. He asked me if I wanted to do it. I tried it. Cassie said, yeah, I tried it. No big deal. Just, I tried it. How many of you out there have had a small personal amount of DRUG and handed it to somebody more than 2 times? If you're in an organization, that is grounds for RICO, that's crazy work. I don't care what side you're on, Diddy, if you want Diddy to go to jail or you want him to stay, that is crazy work. If the government could get Sean Diddy Combs on RICO for DRUG personally, handing it to somebody, that is crazy work. I bet you there'll be an uproar if that is what he's charged with, if he was charged with 2 counts, and I think that's why his team was like, you're joking. And this is just the first day of deliberation, and the jury is coming back asking, really? That's the same thing I asked, for real? You're trying to tell me? That's why the jury asked. This is their second note. Oh, I'm gonna have to take out my umbrella. This is the second note, y'all, for real? Hold on, guys, let me take out my umbrella, and then I'll get to, because I really want to see what you guys have to say about this. Hold on. Hold up. Stay with me now. All right, umbrella. All right, okay, cool. If this is what Diddy goes down for under RICO, then, okay, that's technical, but that means the government's got to go, excuse me, after 90% of the other enterprises in the world or in America. Every single music label has done this. Every single movie industry or production house, every single one will be guilty of the RICO Act. That's what scares me about the law. The law is written in a way that could be bent to really go after anybody they want. That is why in Mark's closing argument was like, yo, they were targeting him like this, yo, if say what you want about Cassie, say what you want about Jane, about all these other things or whatever, blah, 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 blah. If this is what Diddy goes down for and he spends the rest of his life, because remember, a RICO charge is life. If that's what they get him for, a small personal amount, handed to somebody and they call that distribution, that is crazy work. Again, speculating based off of notes, that's all we could do right now. The jury cannot tell us anymore. They cannot tell us that they found him guilty on this or not. But the question is, and I'll read it again, if a person hands over DRUG, is that distribution? So the judge doesn't answer them right away. The judge asks the lawyer, what would you like me to answer them? And the judge has the final say, but he's giving the lawyers a chance. Now again, just like the first one where the juror who didn't look like he wanted to listen, the defense was like, it's no problem, let him continue. Vice versa now, the prosecution is like, answer back and tell them yes. They were like, simple answer is yes, a small personal amount, handing it over, it's distribution, Your Honor, just tell them yes. Mark got up and was like, no, hold on, we would like the night to think about it. They're gonna try to find a way to word it. Marine's process was, hey, in the jury instructions, it says pretty clearly, right, if you have a personal amount and you hand it, it's distribution. So the fact that they're asking is because the word yes is not in the instructions. So Marine is like, just put yes in the instruction. Mark and team thinks that that is too easy and it could be too misleading. And they think if they just see the word yes, that will mean that Diddy is guilty. They do not want to put the word yes. They have until 6 o'clock to submit other suggestions and other wording. Tomorrow morning, they will answer the jury on the question, if a person hands over a personal amount of DRUG, is that distribution under RICO? I don't know how you're gonna reword that to make it not seem as bad as it is under RICO. I have no idea. When the juror, this is quick, right before, I'm ending right now, but I'm gonna go to, I have one last thing to tell you. They bring in the jury before they dismiss them to go home. Listen carefully to this, y'all. Y'all want the insight. This is what you're not gonna get on the transcripts. Juror number 12, who I've told you before, is a black woman. Maybe, let me not say anything about her. This juror number 12 is the one juror that I think most certainly is not going to find Diddy guilty. She's always smiles. She's always, I just feel like the prosecution doesn't have her convinced. And she walked in smiling when she came back. I think she was smiling because they were into like a serious discussion in the back. Like, you know when like, I don't know, you come in from like an argument or you have like an argument with somebody, let's say like, I don't know, you're arguing and you don't want to argue in front of like your parents and you'll come back out and be like, yep, everything was like, she came back like things were going down. I think she might be the one arguing, again, total speculation. She might be the one that's arguing saying, yo, a small little personal vial, I give it to somebody, that's not distribution. Now again, jury instructions are to follow the judge's law. However, regardless of what's on the paper, the judge says they can vote however they want. So a juror could be like, I know he says that it is, but I'm still voting not guilty, and they have that right. I think she was probably the one that was holding out, saying it's not distribution, and that's maybe why they send a note. Again, total speculation, just seeing the smirk on her face, all right? Whoop, whoop. Once again, did the recap in 1 hour. Bam, 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 bam. This is my Jamaican salute. Is it still raining? Oh, that was just like a little drizzle. Yo, that is it. Oh, it is still raining. That is it for the day. Let me know what y'all think. I'm gonna take questions, but you know we have to take a timeout. Take a little, whoo. Thank y'all very much. Thank you very much. Thank y'all for rocking with me. We're close to 3,000 people in here. Somebody said, awesome job, Trent. 12 is Kamala Harris. Somebody said, well, Bad Bounce said, raining rats. What about the thing on the camera? Been waiting all day for you to vent back. Thank the Lord. Not guilty. Hung jury. Great job. Praise the Lord. Subscribed. So glad. Loving the Jamaican vibes. Somebody said, who's Pearl? I can't even answer that just in case. Somebody said, love you, TOL. Be on live tomorrow. What about the other jurors? What about charging Rico? Great job. Great job. All right. Let me get to answering some questions, but whew, I need to take like a break after that. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put away this damn umbrella, yo. All right. Hold up a second. All right. Let me get to the chat. Let me get to the chat. All right. Woo! Oops. Oh, sorry. Gosh, I just burped. Sorry, guys. Andrea with a super chat. Thank you so much. Fantastic reporting. God bless you. Thank you very much, very much. All right. So, what do you guys think of the RICO Act? I'll stay on for another I normally like to go to an hour and a half. I'll stay on for 20 minutes and chat with y'all. Jurors have to follow instructions. Yeah, they have to follow instructions, but they could still vote however they want. They have to follow instructions, but they can vote however they want. The DRUG law is BS. Totally agree with that. I don't care if I was a juror. No, I'm not voting because then that means everyone is guilty, yo. And I totally understand that DRUGs are illegal. I get that. But charge me under a narcotics charge. You know what I mean? Don't slide that under RICO and give me life for a little personal. No, charge me for the little personal amount and, you know, put me inside for a year or whatever that is. You're gonna send me for the rest of my life under RICO for that? That's crazy work, yo. Somebody, Sunday Dollar said guilty of RICO. Somebody says, I think it's not distribution unless being paid for the drug. No, it's not. It's literally just handing it. It does not have to be paid for. This is actually pretty good news. That sounds like the OJ case. Juror number 25 is a white 51-year-old. Anyways, I'm not reading that out because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. I know it's public knowledge, but just in case I'm in the courtroom, I don't want to get in trouble. That's my understanding. Somebody said not guilty. Nick said exactly. I heard the juror they were having an issue with was a white male. Okay, I'm not going to say that. Somebody said it's not personal. Protecting Diddy, not the whatever. Jury nullification has started. Then you should stop handing other DRUGs. That's a point. Can't lie about that. Like I said, like I understand that he got himself in this situation, and it's not a great situation to be in. However, again, if that's the case, go after everybody. I'm telling you, go after every record label, go after everybody in the music industry, the adult industry. Like, go after everybody. Go after everybody. Somebody says, don't look like Rico is defined. Another person said, passion, more Jamaican power, free up, man. He can be not guilty for distribution, that's fine. A plant is not a drug. No, yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry, I said DRUGs out loud. Yeah, it has to be like a harsh DRUG, okay? So not that Bob Marley, but the white stuff, the other things, all right? RICO law will affect so many ordinary people. That is just crazy, bro. That's crazy. What about the other jurors? What did they look like coming out? Stress, confident? What's the tea? Good question. So that one juror looked like she was like, yo, I'm ready for whatever they want to try to bring me. What else? I think most of the people were just pretty kind of straightforward. It's very, very hard to to find out what the jury, it's okay, bro. So, what the jury is thinking. They don't really give too much reaction, so it's really hard to kind of answer, but they did look charged up. They look very happy to finally be able to talk about it, talk amongst themselves, like talk to people. Like I said to you guys, we are able to talk once the judge leaves the courtroom. We're able to talk outside. I'm able to talk with you guys. Sometimes you guys give me information. I give you guys information. You got to think the jury has been there for 8 weeks from 9 till 5, and they're not allowed to talk with anybody about it. So I think just the excitement was like, woo, we're finally free, you know? I still think KK should have testified. Hey, we'll see. What about the other jurors? Oh, I read that already. Year with time served. Yeah, that's a possibility, year with time served. I don't like his instructions, so I will go off the testimony. He distributed to other people. I believe he will walk. RICO Act is crazy. Send half the entertainment world away. Exactly. RICO Act is crazy for calling personal. I think that is absolutely insane. Somebody else said, wow. I'm sure the jurors will use themselves. What? I'm sure the jurors will use themselves about distribution. Crazy, ridiculous work on the government side. Fully crazy. Diddy mistake was using company funds and staff for this stuff. He should have paid himself a wage and used that account only if he wanted to get away with it all. Yeah, 100%. Was that sloppy? Fine, but with the DRUGs, I still think that's crazy. And like I said, I predicted that was the craziest thing, and of course that's why the jury came back with that instruction. Really? Like, and don't forget, like, we heard this 3 times already. The prosecution told us, they told us again in their redirect, and the judge told us, and every time I came out here like flabbergasted, even if that's the word, but like mind blown, like, really? Personal? It doesn't matter the amount, and literally handing it? That is crazy. You got to rewrite the law, man. That's crazy work. How is the New York pizza? Actually, I had New York pizza Friday night. Oh my gosh, it's a little humid out here. My gosh. It's the rain, actually. I had some New York pizza. Shout out to Joe's Pizza. They gave me a free slice. They're like, hey, we actually follow you with the Diddy trial. They're like, oh, Trent out loud. And they gave me a free slice of pizza. Super good pizza, by the way, like amazing. So shout out to Joe's Pizza. They're legendary. Like Kim Kardashian was on the wall. They had like 50 or 60 celebrities. So shout out to Joe's Pizza. That was Ray who asked me that. M. Marine says it doesn't matter the amount. Exactly. Some Herculean says you should not be distributing illegal DRUGs. It's illegal. 1000%, totally agree with you, but charge me for that. Don't charge that under a RICO and put me away for life. You crazy? Or that's nuts. Charge me for that. They caught him with it. They caught him with his house. Charge him with possession, whatever that is. 2 years. Charge me. I'm not saying that you should be able to carry around personal amounts. Not saying that. Do that, it's illegal, I get it. But under RICO, saying that he conspired with somebody he works with and you could potentially get life for that, and that will be under a RICO Act, do your research and find out why the RICO Act was invented, okay? I think that he's gonna lock Diddy. Okay, I'm not saying that. Somebody said a plant is medical. Somebody said exactly Tammy. Lose the bum done. I don't know what that is. MA said hung jury. Roberta said not everyone is on a trial. This is what happens when you open Pandora's box with a crime. Very, very good point. Somebody says, what about the other jurors? Yeah, I already answered that. We'll have to wait and see. L said, I feel like you're kind of the male counterpart to another very popular female YouTuber who is also currently reporting on the trial. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you very much. Kai said, there are 7 other predicate acts outside of distribution. 100%. I listed all of them for you guys. However, the note came back for DRUG distribution. So what that leads us to assume, we don't know, is maybe they went through all the predicate acts and they were like, yep, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. And they were like, oh, 1 second, DRUG, probably guilty. And then maybe 1 or 2 was like, what? You cannot be guilty for that. And that's why it came out. That's why we're all assuming that they're leading to maybe get him on the DRUG distribution. I feel like people will like get up in the streets for that because that would be just crazy work, yo. Frank sent me an emoji. Thank you so much, Frank. Rico is not strong. That was from Nicole. Renee said not guilty or deadlock. Diego said shout out from Spain. Free Diddy. What up? Shout out Spain. What up? I want to visit there one day. Mafa said thank you for going in while others are off subscribed. Thank you very much. David Russell says, that's crazy. They gave him a RICO for personal DRUG use, 100%. The law, she is more specific than the amount. Distribution is fair if you're going to require all your employees to carry your DRUGs to give them at your whim, especially people who didn't sign up for that. I understand what you're saying, but that's not the case and that's not the law. It's not, and that's what I would get. If it was like, yo, there's 20 people carrying around. No, the law is you hand 1 person, you just hand it to them. This is what we're saying. Not, oh, we have a bunch of people carrying, walking in the streets, giving them to people, giving out at concerts. Nah, y'all are just chilling at home. He's your personal assistant and you take this and you give it to him. That's distribution. I'm sorry. Doesn't matter what side you're on. That is crazy work. My opinion, and I have a right to my opinion. Somebody says it's sarcasm. Hold on, I got a little bit lost here. Somebody's name is Auntie Trenty. Wow, thank you for the emoji that says keep it up. Hold on, I'm gonna slide down a little because I missed so many. Oh my gosh, jeez, you guys are asking a lot. Oh, hold on. Whoa, the big super chat from Will Wallace. Thank you so much for the super chat. Jeez, thank you so much. And I'll read what your chat is. Juror 25 sound like he agrees with Trent. Can't convict on RICO because offense is too broad. That would be me being like, nah, I'm not listening to nothing this judge is telling me, yo. Everybody would be guilty. Also, lady juror with smile is ready to something to Diddy. Mid-white age male juror number 25 is why Diddy been grinding in court all day. All right. Thank you for that super chat, Will Wallace. All right, let me just scroll down. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go right back to the bottom. So if you guys want to send in more questions, I just went all the way to the bottom. Trent, please tell us more about juror number 25 as much as you can. Linda Green, I cannot tell you guys anything more. I can't tell you anything more that's already online. So just Google juror 25 Diddy trial. You'll find out a little bit more. I got to be very careful. I'm in the courtroom and, I don't want to mess up my blessings. Although I'm allowed to give like this, not their description, but phase how I feel or whatever. But again, just want to be careful. Somebody says she's probably Diddy's mom's friend. Keisha Johnson said, what are the ages of the juror? I don't want to say that. Dennis said, what up, Trent from Rhode Island? What up? Somebody says, is 25 a replacement? No, from what I gathered, 25 is not a replacement. So the jury foreman, I'm pretty sure, is a white finance guy, and the juror number 25 is another white male. Cindy Wagner said guilty, guilty, guilty. Skip Plyer said not guilty. Mary said, you think he'll be found guilty? I think that he may get found guilty on the on the Mann Act. But even at that, it will be, he'll get off on time served with that. It's not a, the maximum is 10 years, but if they only find him on like one count, his legal team will just have to go back and get some legal cases and showed, hey, the past 10 people in the Southern District that got sentenced, they only got 5 years and they like trafficked 10 girls, or 7 years versus this. They will have to show a reason why they're giving him 10 years. It's not, oh, you beat all these other big acts, we're gonna give you 10 years. He'll get 2-3 years, he'll probably get off on time served, which will be a win for Diddy's defense team, but the rest I'll just have to wait and see with y'all. All right, I got another I'm gonna stay on 15 more minutes with you guys. I like to do an hour and a half on the end of my day. So we got 14 minutes together. Keep on bringing me some of y'all questions, all right? What was the verdict today? There was no verdict today. Will he have to go on a registry? No, I don't think so. Diddy is only guilty of letting, okay, I'm not reading that. Remember he said he's not going down by himself? I was talking about that with somebody today, and I don't want to get too much into it, but I think if he gets found guilty, anyways, I'm not going to talk about that. Felicia said, if you find the witnesses incredible, then saying Diddy gave them DRUG is hearsay. If you find the witnesses, I think credible is what you mean to say. Alexander Lambo said, sincerely, I do not see any victims in this case. Cassie got 30 mil and Jane is staying at a condo Diddy is paying for. I feel the juror, who is the treatment wellness expert, might be the problem. I love how informed you guys are. Another person said, Efima said, how long do you think they will deliberate for? Great question. I think the fact that they could stay longer than 5 o'clock, well, first of all, I think the fact that the jury came back really quick with juror number 25 is not listening to you. Like, they're not playing around. The fact that they send back a note already today. I was speaking with some people from ABC, like some legal analysts, and they said it's super possible, and they've sat down through trials where you don't get any notes for the day. So the fact that we got a floor person within like seconds, and then we got 2 notes, and it was only half day, just imagine tomorrow. I mean, stay by your phone, stay by your notifications. It is possible that we get a verdict tomorrow. I would not be surprised, just based on today and based how I see how the jury is literally ready to go home. They're definitely ready. If not tomorrow, definitely by Wednesday, and I think they'll stay pretty long Wednesday. LB Dean said, where's the rat? I know, I'm looking for him. You know what, don't let me talk about him, because last time I talked to him, he came out. Blah, 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 I didn't say anything. What do you think the defense will say to that? There's no way the judge will allow just a yes. I don't know what that question means. Put the question in that answer. Hold on. Alexander Lambo. Oh, I think I read that one already. Somebody said free Diddy. Da, da, da. What do you think the defense will say to that? I read that one already. Throw the keys away and send him. All right. I guess you're opposed to Diddy. All right. Teresa said, even if he gets 15 years, he must serve 85%, which is 12 years. That's time served. Huh? 12 years is not time served. I was saying if he gets charged for the Mann Act, and the Mann Act is a maximum of 10, I think a minimum of probation, so the judge could give him a year or 2 years. That is how he'll get off on time served, not on RICO or SEX trafficking. SEX trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion, that's a minimum of 15 years. SEX trafficking for the Mann Act, for women selling or people selling themselves, that is a maximum of 10 and minimum of probation. And like I said, he will get put against other people that have been charged for that, see what their sentencing is. And like I said, there's people that have been charged for that with trafficking, let's say 10 or 20 girls or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they maybe have gotten, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years. It can't just be based on Diddy alone because they want to throw him away, is what I'm trying to say. If jurors are 45 and over, they will not convict. 90s fans. Hey, that's the advantage of being Diddy. Hold on, I think there's a super chat here. Oh, thank you very much. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Ngonea Bullard. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm really sorry I didn't know how to pronounce your name. Nigohi. Sorry, but I'll heart it. Thank you so much for that. And Will Willis, I already hearted that. All right, perfect. All right, let me skip all the way down. There was a lot that came through. Out of 12, if 10 find him guilty, hold on. Out of 12, if 10 find him not guilty, what happens? That is a hung jury. I talked about that earlier this morning. You could go back to my morning live. I broke that down. I'll do it quickly. I got 10 more minutes, guys, and then I'm off. All right, 10 more minutes, I'm off. I do a minimum of an hour and a half. So what happens is 10 find him not guilty, 2 find him guilty. The judge can send them back as many times as he wants to think, deliberate, try to change their mind. It is up to the judge to call a hung jury. And what I spoke about today, a hung jury is still a verdict. This is the United States of America. It's part of the Constitution. Guilty, not guilty, or a hung jury is all equivalent. It is up to the judge. I've seen this judge every day. He's a very, very nice guy. I don't see him as the type of judge that keeps on sending the jury back. If they came back 10-2, all right, guys, can you go back and try again? Let's say that's Wednesday. Hey, guys, can you go back? I don't think that he will put them back more than 2 times. The judge will have to determine if the jury is at what's the exact term? Hopelessly hung. The judge has to get a feeling like, I could send you back here for another month and you'll still be hung. All right, okay, cool. I'll call it as a hung jury. So that's what happens. Also, what we talked about today is, let's say, for example, it is a hung jury. The prosecution could now poll and say, all right, what were you guys hung on? If it was, let's say, 10 guilty and 2 not guilty, they could say, hey, we convinced 10 people. We'll try it again. So we'll go as a mistrial. We'll try the case again. But reverse, if it's a hung jury and it's a mistrial and the prosecution polls the jury and they saw only 3 people thought guilty and 9 thought not guilty, they might look and be like, yo, we did all of this work and we were only able to convince 3 people. We're not going to try him again. So everybody that's saying, oh, if there's a mistrial, he stays in jail and they'll try him again. Yes, it's possible, even if they only get 1 guilty, because there's a lot of pressure on them, but they will still poll them and say, yo, let's use our brains here. We did all of this work, all of these raids. We spent millions of dollars. We only got 2 guilties or 3 guilties. Do we want to go through this all again to get maybe 3 or only 4 more guilty? It will be up to the prosecution. Can the judge throw out the jury's decision? Absolutely not. The judge is totally irrelevant at this point. The jury is the judge. The judge even said that in his closing, or not his closing statements, but his jury instructions. It is up to the jury. This is the United States of America. This is what makes the United States so beautiful. This is what makes the Constitution so beautiful. This is what makes the United States judicial system, bar none. It's a beautiful thing. You are judged by a jury of your peers. You're not judged by the prosecution. You're not judged by the judge. You're not judged by anybody else. Sean Diddy Combs or anybody else who has a trial by jury, you are judged by a jury of your peers. And Diddy, both sides said this, Diddy got very, very lucky, and he was very, very fortunate that his jury was a very well mixed blend jury that represents New York City, the Southern District of New York. I walk every day here and go to the train. I walk around, I eat. The same exact people that I see in that jury is the exact same people that we saw out here. I will literally really trust this jury's verdict and know that Diddy had the best opportunity to be judged by his peers. The judge cannot throw anything out. Barbie's World said the feds always win. Okay, can I tell you guys something about that? Because this really annoys me, and no problem. Sorry, I was just reading something. It really annoys me when people say this. Barbie's World, you have a right to your own opinion, you could say that. But let me tell you why the feds always win, or why it seems like they always win, but they actually really don't. The feds will always charge you with a lesser charge, and then they'll charge you with a bigger charge, i.e. the Mann Act, which is easier to get, and a RICO, which is harder to get. So if Diddy, let's say, for example, gets found guilty on 1 count, let's say, for example, Cassie, okay? Cassie on the Mann Act, and he gets 2 years, which will end up being a year that he serves, and he's already been in for a year, and he gets off on time served. And Diddy walks out those doors tomorrow morning. That is technically a win for the prosecution. They could go in their books and be like, check mark. But you know and I know That would be a huge, embarrassing fail on the federal government that they spent millions and millions of dollars, made this whole big stink and kerfuffle to know that Sean Diddy Combs is at home and found not guilty on SCX trafficking, force, fraud, and coercion, and RICO. That will be embarrassing for the government. Just like the Young Thug trial, I always bring it back to that. Young Thug was supposed to be gone away for life, all of this stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. The state prosecutors had to give him a deal. They gave him a deal. He pled guilty. Yes, he's on probation. Yes, he can't go back to Atlanta for 15 years, but that was a quote unquote win for Young Thug. It really wasn't a win for the prosecution. In the books, it's a win, but for Thug, it is that they won. Brian Steele looks at that as a win. His client is not in jail. He only got off on time served. If that happens with Diddy, it's not a win for the feds. Trust me, they will not look at it. That's how the feds play games, and that's how they keep their numbers at 96%, all right? I meant 12 years couldn't be satisfied by time served. Thank you for clarifying. Somebody said feds always win. Somebody says you're jealous of P. Diddy. All right, David Russell. Thank you so much for your knowledge and understanding. That was Alicia Campbell. All right, guys, I'm staying on 4 more minutes. I'm gonna skip all the way down. Sorry, I can't always get to everything. Oh, there's a super chat. Geez, Will Wallace again with the super chat. Bah, 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 bah. Thank you. Let me heart that and read it. Bro, put the comment ticker up. And for super chats, I think you manually put them up as you're reading them. Oop, your super chats will go up. It's something about people seeing them. PS. Also, my last name is pronounced Wallace. Oh, sorry. What did I say? Anyways, I am super dyslexic. I don't know how to put my super chats up. Your super chats will go up. Bro, put the comment ticker up. How do I put the comment ticker? I'll look into that. How do I do that? Anyways, sorry, Will Wallace, my bad. And I do know it's pronounced Wallace, but it's my, how do I put that up? Let me press this button here. No, okay, no. Oh no, I put a green background. Oh no. No! Okay, I'm not gonna start playing around with stuff here. Jet Life Vacations gave me a super chat. Thank you so much. Hey Trent, if he's found guilty, folks are talking about riot. Really? Hey, I don't want to get into that. Nobody fault me for calling anybody to do anything. So hey, if you feel like that's what will happen, hey. Hold on, did I miss no, all right, I got everyone's super chat. All right, I got 2.5 more minutes. Let me go here. 2K watching, hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you very much. Don Wright, be respectful. Drew Wright, be respectful, dog. Do your thing the right way. Nobody cares about toothpick something. Okay, no. I see them and Will did 50. Somebody said, Channel Street says, I'm not rioting. Bernard said, he is going to jail. Cassie took that money and then started talking about double standards. Alex Lambo said, sincerely, this case would have been more credible if we were talking about Tupac and Biggie's unaliving. The streets don't care about bedroom freak-offs. Halo Pine said, I'm happy we don't have to hear about that Baby Oil anymore. Me too, yo. Please. I don't want to hear about Astroglide. I don't want to hear about Baby Oil for the rest of 2005, yo. Brooklyn Guy said, inmates are waiting for Diddy facts. How long are they staying today? No, they are done. When I've come out when they're done. So when you see me coming out, they're done. They were done at 5 o'clock today. I think they'll only stay later if they feel like they're close to a verdict. I don't think they're going to stay in for no reason. Somebody said, great job, bruh. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jeff. Michael said, do you think this thug case was feds? Do you think it would be the same result? Yeah, I do. I think that all law enforcement wants to keep their numbers up. You know what I mean? So they all police do that. Every department, they charge you a small thing and they charge you a big thing. That's their way out. That's how they rock, yo. Angela said, good night, bro. See you mañana. See, I knew how to pronounce that. Angel Lorenzo. All right, guys, 1 more minute. Carlo Swanson says, how does he look? He looks good. He looks stressed today, though. When that last note came out, he looked stressed. Like, I can't see his legs because I'm literally just right behind him, but it looked like he was kind of like, and I've never seen him with books. Like, he's trying to stay calm. Like, this is his life in the wings. I know there's mistrials, I know there's appeals, I know there's other things, and even like what people say with Trump pardoning him and all that stuff. Let me see how much power I have. All right, 9%, we can go. 30 more seconds anyways. All right, let me go. I'm gonna go scroll to the bottom. Oh no, let me just drop to the bottom here. Oh, I got one more super chat. Tracy C, thank you very much for the super chat. Get yourself a crispy grilled cheese sandwich from Starbucks. Bam, 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 bam. Y'all know I love my Starbucks, man. All right, you guys, thank you very much for the Starbucks. Okay, ambulances, that's how I cut it. All right, we made it to an hour and 30 minutes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bam, 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 bam. I will not be doing a normal podcast tonight. For my out loud listeners, sorry. I told you guys yesterday that I gave you one, but this is on not the live side. This is on the regular video side. I said I would try to give you guys one tonight, but I'm leaving the courthouse now at 7. I'm gonna like go talk with some sources and stuff. By the time I get back home, it's gonna be like 9 o'clock, and I gotta be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I love y'all, but no Trend Out Loud podcast with other entertainment and political news. For those who are new here, we do a daily entertainment and political news podcast. We don't just cover Diddy, but I tried to do it. There's just no way. And then I can't be in court tired. I'm just falling asleep. So love y'all for rocking with the lives. Love y'all for giving me the super chats, the super emojis. Thank you so much. I will see y'all tomorrow, 7 a.m. I'm going to talk with some sources. I'll try to give you guys some tea for when I come on live tomorrow at around a little bit earlier, 6:45, 6:50. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. And then, of course, again at the end of the day, maybe for a verdict on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. I'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Have a good night. Peace. By the way, look, nobody's left. Just me out here working for y'all. Hey, hey. Go Trenty. I'm out, y'all. Bam, 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 bam. Peace.